He's slinging knives, burning bright. It's Anthony Del Taco Zichella in the finals here at the June AG Open for LA. His opponent, Zachary Wallach, another gravy bones in his way, the third, I believe, of this top 8 bracket before Anthony Zichella can crown himself the June AG Open champion. Zach, however, is not going to make it easy. This guy is no stranger to board state heroes, and he's no slouch in any hero that he's piloting. He is a excellent player. I am proud to call him a teammate, and he is going to make it as difficult as possible for Anthony to ascend to the crown.
We already know that Cindra is supposed to be favored into this matchup, but one cool thing about Zachary Wallach's deck is that it's extremely different from the Yuki Lee Bender list that we just saw fall to Anthony against Peter Budensic.
What is on the line, folks? This is a $200 match. Second place is going to get $200. Winner is going to get $400. The difference thereby is $200. These players, I don't think, are going to elect to split that prize money. We'll see how it all shakes out. But also on the line is another 5 AGE points. Either way, both are going home with the lion's share of what is on offer as far as the points go.
Yeah, I did hear Anthony talking about being confident enough not to take the offer to split, which is exciting here.
Yeah,
we've
definitely
got money on the line.
There are definitely more stakes here, but also bragging rights if Zach is able to take this one down. It's also important to mention here that this is the only AG Open that Anthony Zichella has attended thus far in this Season 3. If he's able to secure all 30 of these AGE points, he's not going to be in the top 16 and thereby in the running for the Players' Championship, but he is going to be awfully close because the lowest seed at number 16 is Brian Gutierrez, sitting at 34 AGE points. So Anthony would be right at the cusp.
Yeah, we've got another contender depending on how he shows up or if he shows up to the next two in line.
And thereby, I mean, Zach is also fighting for his life here. Even securing only 25 points, he is going to pretty much cement his hold on this top 16. But you would love to have an extra 5 points, and you would love to have a win over a very unfavorable matchup.
Yeah.
If Anthony Zichella is able to secure all 30 of those AGE points, he has a couple more opportunities to qualify for that Players' Championship. 2, in fact, here in LA. That's July 13th and August 9th, both of which will be held here in the flesh and blood at Top Deck Keep in Riverside, California. If, however, you are on our other coast, the East Coast for that matter, you can join us at Grave Troll Games in Nashua, New Hampshire on the 28th of June. That's the end of this month. It's a Saturday, and we'll be crashing down the doors at Grave Troll Games for their grand opening that happened just at the beginning of this month, helping them establish an all flesh and blood, all the time business model.
Really awesome to see a store dedicated strictly to flesh and blood and maybe a little bit of Pokemon on the side. This game deserves it, and it's awesome to see store owners putting it forefront for their business.
You know who else deserves it, Michael, is whoever loses this match. I'm just kidding. They're all great people. We wish the best for both of our competitors. Let's go ahead and introduce them, shall we? Down to the match floor we go for the finals here at the June AGE Open. Get us on down there, Sock Puppet Justin, because it's time for Burning Blades to Fly and Necromantic Dudes to Die?
Yeah.
That was a rhyme.
You got it. Now you nailed it.
Dear Diary, today Michael said I nailed it. Okay, we've seen this match play out already. Who do you give the edge to, Michael?
I mean, it's got to be Anthony. The Cindra has proven that she is here to eat zombies alive with those kunai flying across the table as we see one right here starting things out. Coming in for one.
Eating zombies, gross. Kunai Retribution is the first action of this game. Anthony electing once again to go first, as is his right as the first seed. Currently sitting undefeated as well. This might be our first ever undefeated run at an AGE.
Wow. That's an exciting way to start your AGE year out, if that is the case.
Yeah, you need that.
Both players grabbing their lavalier mics. Zach says you need that because I'm going to make you trash talk me.
A little bit of a slower start here, though, from Anthony. Just pitching 2 reds, throwing 2 kunais. Of course, very tempting not to block these, so the damage often goes through, despite them being very low.
He doesn't have a blue like he did at the beginning of his game against Peter, so if he closes the combat chain here, he's not going to be able to buy his daggers back. Instead, it's going to be a flick knives here, probably just pitching yet another red in the hand in order to buy 1 dagger back and keep the offensive potential up.
Yeah, and it's not a draconic card, so looking... Well, yeah, uh-oh. Okay, jeez.
Still no go again.
Zach giving a wry laugh to Anthony Zichella, who is plays a little bit too fast sometimes, but
Yeah.
it's a plays headlong here, getting him to that third Draconic chain link, which means that he can buy the one kunai of Retribution in the graveyard back for free.
Yeah, that third Draconic, very important in order to allow Anthony to Arsenal. And of course, with that Arsenal, Zachary will be hoping to be able to target it down with some Arsenal disruption in the follow-up.
We continually talk about the big difference between the Zachary Wallach list, which is very close to the Austin Summers list, which we have a deck tech for on the AG YouTube channel. And that difference is mainly in the number of reds in the Gravy Bones list. Peter Budensek was rocking like 12, I want to say. In this case, usually Zach is going to be on 6. Probably 3 in this board because Blood in the Water is not going to get maximum value against Cindra Dracai of Retribution. That being said, you usually expect that this slant of a Gravy Bones list, the dude list, to have less damage in general. However, Zach blocked with a little card called Prismatic Leyline, which can be utilized for its full potential, honestly, pretty easily by Gravy Bones. And if you can make that a 1-card 6, yeah, you got some screaming numbers going.
Yeah, that card is a very potent offensive tool, especially because it can be cycled back into the deck with Scuba, which is one of the cool techs that I saw Austin talking about.
And here we go, a little bit of disruption here. Loot the Hold from the Gravy Bones Armory deck. Going to confer an on-hit to Anka, drag under. If this connects with Anthony, he will have to discard a card from hand, and Zachary will create a gold token.
Loot the Hold is from hand?
Loot the Hold is from hand.
Loot
as
the
well
Arsenal,
as,
of course. Duh.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You hold cards in hand, you arsenal cards in arsenal.
Oh, that's a good way to think about it.
A Gold Kiss Rum has also been generated by Zachary Wallach as he tipped the barkeep. A very generous tipper, notably, is Zachary Wallach.
Yeah, he didn't give the gold, so not really the most generous of tips.
Well, he
but,
didn't have the gold to give, unfortunately.
Well, it's not really a tip then, is it?
Okay, all right, fair.
The
but he got the
barkeep
drink
said,
anyway. So
I'm
did he
not
just,
serving you anymore as she leaves into the graveyard.
but still gave him a bottle of rum? That's immaculate service. Zach
Yeah.
should be tipping for that.
Yeah, it really is unfortunate. The things these barkeeps go through.
Zachary is a downright scallywag now that we think about it.
He's always been.
Certainly looking like it as he thumbs his chin, daring Anthony to block.
Yeah, and Anthony's really thinking about actually reaching for 2 cards here.
Soundbite that, ladies and gentlemen. Add it to your Discord soundboard. This hand is buttholes, says Anthony Zichella, as he blocks out 5 on this Anka drag under. So he's saving all the cards in the hold despite not really liking them too much. He's going to have to remove this Anka sooner rather than later because that is a discard effect that you really don't want to deal with when you're threatening Mask of Momentum every single turn.
Right, you are. And this game already shaping up to be a little bit more competitive than our last one, as Anthony's not quite on the back foot, but not having a ton to work with. And Zach with a board.
He's got a plethora of head jabs with which to work. One of those has got to be sent at Anka sooner rather than later. Anthony, however, in the tank. It's an Ignite, targeting Zachary Wallach. 2 go again here, discounting the next Draconic card played or activated. Zach looking at 2 allies in the hand and 2 3 blocks. Gosh, and look at all of those treasure pack commons that he's got going on.
He's just the master of bling.
Without a doubt. If he could wear a full suit of rhinestones, I bet he would.
36.
Down to 36 goes Zachary Wallach after taking 2 on the Ignite. Follow-up here, likely to be that Fire Tenant strike first. I have to imagine Anthony is going to kill that zombie.
What's he do?
Go for it.
What's he do?
So I can discard
First, he's going to read
a
and
wonder
decide
grave card.
what he does.
Next time you would draw a card, well, on resolution, you would discard the card.
Got it.
Or discard a card.
If I have no cards in hand, does it still work? Like if it has no, if I have no cards in hand when this happens, what's the order?
So you would draw off mass,
And then discard.
the trigger would go on the stack, and then when it resolves, you would discard.
Got it.
We're letting Zachary Wallach explain this interaction because he's one of those guys that reads the entirety of the rules reprise. He knows the rules of Flesh and Blood inside and out. Case in point, on the AGE Pro team, we have a little chat called Rules Questions, it's always Zach who is answering the questions there. Evan Bridges, who is a level 1 judge, forget it. We never want his rulings. We always want Zach's.
Destroying Sawbones, it will die. Effect is lingering.
Yeah, these players are very, very smart, and you have to be to play the game of Flesh and Blood to the highest level.
Okay, and an important distinction here. Zachary Wallach activated Anka Drag Under, discarded Sawbones before Anka died. So if Anthony is to threaten a mass trigger here, it will basically be moot because that Anka trigger still floats through the duration of the rest of the turn.
Super useful card. And here it is, the threat of the Mask of Momentum. Is that right?
Yes, Art of the Dragon Blood.
So basically not.
Yep. Taking 4.
I'll flick knives.
Taking 5.
Anthony says flick knives first.
I'll Cindra.
Down 5 life points is Zachary Wallach. Down to 30. Mask will trigger, but it will immediately be the card drawn from Mask will immediately be discarded thanks to Anka.
There it is, and there it goes.
And a Blaze Headlong is a really good one to hit there for Zach. He's still got 3 cards.
Yeah.
My turn.
And is the Anka still on the board?
No, Anka is gone.
'Cause that's a second.
That's
no,
that's a
It's
Sawbones.
these darned marvels.
I know. It does make it hard. I commiserate with you, my friend. Avastji resolved for Zachary Wallach here. Next, zombie attack is going to get go again, and on hit, make a gold token.
I'm like, everyone's cheating on stream today.
Anthony says everybody's cheating on stream, but if there's one person that isn't, it's Zachary Wallach.
Very clean player.
Especially with the board state heroes. I just remember the way he managed all of his cards and resources with Dromai was, honestly, that was part of the show, watching Zach play.
Yeah, he turned into a bit of a villain during the Dromai era for me. Every time he would come on camera, he would just sweep, and I was getting sick of it.
Make a gold and draw a card.
It's like Tipple, but without.
Portside Exchange discards Cuddy Shark Quick Clip
Non-attack.
and draws into a Conqueror of the High Seas. If Zach can draw into another blue off of gold,
I will play Sawbones.
no, he doesn't want to go for the risky play. I respect the heck out of that.
For 6 go
I do
again.
too.
Play swung Sawbones, swing Sawbones, 6 go again here, thanks to Avastji. Anthony takes 6 immediately on the chin, down to 34. Zach creates a gold token.
I'm going to tap Dead Threads for a resource because an ally is putting
Dead Threads creates a resource because an ally has been put into the bin this turn, and Cuddy Shark comes out to play. Consuming the action point, of course, because Sawbones took the go again off of Compass of the Sunken Depths. And passing back over to Anthony Zichella is Zachary Wallach with a bit of a board to remove on his turn.
And just to comment briefly on the fact that Zach did not choose to gamble on the blue, I really love to see the way that these top-level Flesh and Blood players know how to play a fine line between taking chances and playing safe. And for the most part, it's really wise not to take the gamble over and over again.
You've got to know when the time is to take big risks and when the time is to play smart. Anthony, holding out an Oath of Loyalty, which is honestly a really good thing to send at that Cuddy Shark. Usually, Cuddy Shark is a really difficult ally to remove for decks that love to go head jab, right?
Yeah, 4 life. But, of course, the Sawbones could make that a little bit more challenging.
Exactly. So we'll have to see if Anthony sniffs it out.
An extra kunai could help shore up the difference. But that would be 2 cards committed.
If Anthony does have head jabs, and if I know Anthony, he's got head jabs, he could always send Oath of Loyalty at face first, and then just send one of those head jabs straight at Sawbones. Start clearing up from there.
It does make sense.
But Zachary's showing why Cuddy Shark is an include in some of these Gravy Bones decks. It's not because the effect is particularly powerful. Sure, it plays well with a larger board, allows you to sink extra resources. But it's all about the butt. It's about the life totals here on these allies.
I'm a bit surprised to see Zach not use the Sawbones, just kind of snap taking the damage and sacrificing the Cuddy. Happy to make the exchange.
As am I. Zach activates Compass here. Display Loyalty, generating a fealty token, because this is the 2nd or greater Draconic Chain Link. Anthony, I think, had, yes, an Ancestral Empowerment in hand. He is no longer going to be able to play it thanks to the fact that Oath of Loyalty was the first action on this combat chain. Unless, of course, he would like to pop that fealty token. But It's not like Fang where you're generating them constantly. In the Cindra deck, you kind of have to hold on to them for those Art of the Dragon Fires, for those Art of the Dragon Bloods.
Yeah, really important to utilize those for their full value rather than just skirting around a card that you should just be able to line up a turn into.
Display loyalty still needs to be answered here for Zachary Wallach. Blocking 3 with Tip the Barkeep here.
I think this is a pretty easy flick knives in to kill the Sawbones.
I don't think you can flick Sawbones.
No. He's not. He's attacking Zach right now.
He's attacking Zach.
So instead of the flick, it was the Ancestral Empowerment. Same idea, though. Keeping the Mask of Momentum trigger
I see what you're
alive for the 3rd chain link, which then I expect to go into the Sawbones.
Words are wording. You are absolutely right, Michael. Fealty token has been consumed to make Ancestral Empowerment draconic. So Zach is going to take 1. This Mask of Momentum is still live. Down to 29 he goes. Ronin Renegade to kill that Sawbones, as my co-caster alluded to, which means Mask of Momentum is going to draw a card here. Really clean play from our Dracai of Retribution.
Yeah, and we once again see a blank Watery Grave on the side of Gravy Bones. Of course, it can fill up so quickly, but that is what you want to see when you're trying to clear allies. Getting the Gravy Bones to a position where they don't have any more to play means you have free reign to go straight for that health.
All systems are go for Cindra. 2 go again here off the back of an Ignite. Surely a kunai to follow.
No block. Take 2.
No blocks here. Down to 27 goes Zach.
2 cards in hand.
34 plays 27. A valley separates these 2 life totals as 1 go again comes in off the back of the kunai. Brain with Cinderclaw is the follow-up here, and probably the last thing on offer. 3 go again. Anthony doesn't want to keep an arsenal here. He's smelling Conquerors of the High Seas out there in the water.
And we were just talking about how the one sort of vulnerability that this Cindra deck has is into disruption. So not playing the Arsenal theme of the day into the Gravy Bones and really makes a lot of sense when that seems to be one of the only forms of disruption they have on offer.
And mill a yellow.
Okay, Chart the High Seas resolved here.
I mill the other. I pitch a blue.
Zach going to take a look at the top 2 cards of the deck. He gets to pitch a blue from among them and discard.
I got you, Bobby.
I'm doing the thing.
We have not seen this high roll yet very much today. I think maybe early on we saw one from Charles Dunn in game 1, but after that it's been whiff after whiff. Finally, Zachary getting a little bit lucky and hitting the coveted 1 ally, 1 blue off Chart the High Seas.
And this is the value of building your deck around this card. This is the Austin Summers Salty Spittoon Gravy Bones deck, and a lot of it is really geared towards making sure that Chart the High Seas hits every single time it's played.
Yeah. I'm curious to see the difference between this list and the one that got 2nd place. Maybe you know more about it, and maybe we should hold off on the conversation, but that is a question in my mind.
Yeah, there is a big difference here. The ally count for 1, there's a total of 3 allies separating the 2 lists, and also the choice of allies. I don't believe Jacob Shaker has any Cutty Sharks, I want to say. I think the numbers of Rigor Mortis is very different. Also, Prismatic Leyline, a massive difference in those 2 lists.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of talk about this card for many, many reasons. It's such a role player and flexible slot.
I'm going to pop the other gold. Sure.
Okay, popping a gold. The last in his coffers is Zachary Wallach drawing up. It's an ally. Probably not what he wanted to see here because he seems fairly resource deficient at this point. I know he was hoping to resolve this Prismatic Leyline, but does he have the blue attack that you really need in order to capitalize on that card?
Activate gold baited hook.
Conqueror of the High Seas. Rigor Mortis is enough to pay for that.
Make a gold from hook.
So none floating here, but it's 8 go again. On hit, create a gold from the hook. Anthony astutely, did not pocket that Brand with Cinderclaw that he drew off the Mask of Momentum. In this case, no arsenal to threaten, which means that Anthony can just ship all that damage.
Yeah, and with the gold-baited hook, though, at least Zachary has some meaningful on-hit that he's able to capitalize on. Anthony not finding it meaningful enough to block, but Zach helping his game plan.
Ooh, Zach missing a point of damage here. He could have activated Dead Threads in order to activate Cutty Shark before swinging it. One of the very few misplays I think I've ever seen Zach make.
Yeah, there was that one, and I think one earlier that I'm not sure if it was a misplay, and I can't actually remember what it was, so I'll leave it here.
Leaving it there is my co-caster. But leaving it on the table is Anthony Zichella. Life totals are very close, but Anthony has his foot about firmly pressed on the gas. He's got a lava burst in hand and 3 head jabs with which to use.
And this chum is in the watery grave, right?
It is.
Okay.
It's in Gravy Bones' locker, waiting to be deployed.
Such a good card.
Oh, if this game comes down to 1 life, Zach is going to be regretting that Cuddy Shark misplay.
Oh, yeah. So far, though, even life totals, 23 to 22. Really impressed with how Zach has been able to keep even.
It's a very different game than the one we saw against Peter Budensick. Peter, unfortunately, missing on 2 saltwater swells, which really spelled doom for that game. 2 go again here. Ignite, the last one in Anthony's deck.
And from what I've seen from the Zachary, Wallach, and from this list is that it just seems like it has a little more consistency, and I like that in a list that can brick. It's a very bricky possible deck, and we saw that a lot with the Peter Budensick game earlier.
Zach staring down a good number of blues here. Murderous Rabble of Ask G, Back Alley Breakline, and Chart the High Seas. I love that he compassed here on the first attack of Anthony's turn. He knows exactly what he's going to get, at least half of what he's going to get from that Chart the High Seas. Back Alley Breakline covering up 2 here.
Not often you can use that card that efficiently. Covering a 2 breakpoint also means 1 less chainlink has hit for the Mask of Momentum. So I do like the use of that card in this case, even though it's not a very high block value.
Anthony seeming to forgo the flick knives. Kunai Retribution hits Cuddy Shark quick clip. Cuddy is down to 3 life on this turn. Probably not long for this world because if there's one thing that Ninja has, it's head jabs.
And I like this play here, getting to the 3rd chain link by using 2 attacks into it, one of them being a weapon. Really efficient play, and he's going to draw up after killing this, so it's trading 0 for 1 in a sense.
He would have had to... It's curious then that Anthony did not flick on the Ignite chain link, because then he could have been drawing a card here.
True. Yeah, I actually misspoke, and you caught it there. So not drawing the Mask of Momentum here, and maybe regretting not flicking. We'll see.
Actually, was this not...
Block 3.
This attack didn't go at Zach. I'm sorry, it
explains
didn't go at Cuddy Shark. It went at Zach. This explains everything.
Huh.
Flick Knives keeping that Mask of Momentum alive. Now Anthony's going to follow up with a head
There
jab
it is.
at Cuddy Shark.
Okay, well played by Anthony.
That's 3 hits.
Yeah, that's 3 hits. Yes.
Zach said, not so fast.
Not so fast. You
Why
can't be
not?
playing Scurv in this
That's
format.
a Scurv card. Get out of here, Anthony. Rising Resentment has connected. Looks like no banish on that. Ravenous Rabble, however, finds a red on top. 4 go again. Zach does have the answer. Blood in the Water. Making me eat my words. That card is an include here. Lava Burst, the finisher. 5 here on this Draconic attack. Has hit the fabled 4 or higher chain link of Draconic variety. Zach down to 16 here. 23 plays 16. Zach has 2 cards in hand. It's Chart the High Seas once again. He likes the top card of the deck, but what is the next one? It's an ally. Oh, Zach hitting twice on Chart the High Seas this game thus far. 3 in the pitch, Swabby in the bin.
And if you're going to have a chance against the Cindra, you need to be hitting your Chart the High Seas like this. Very well played by Zach, showing his skill at the game of Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, Chart the High Seas just does everything that Gravy Bones wants. It gets a blue into the graveyard while also usually getting a blue into the pitch. Also an ally in there too. So the sky is the limit for Zach here.
Yeah, Swabby, and what's the one behind that?
That is Chum.
Chum, right.
So
Thank
with
you.
Dead Threads right now, he could simply just resolve Chum, swing Chum, pocket something in Arsenal. But I know Zach wants to go a little bit further than that.
Yeah, I like the play of Chum as soon as possible, simply because... Interesting.
Zach has a head jab of his own. 3 go again off of Murderous Rabble. 2 blue cards have hit the graveyard. Closing the chain to activate Death Threads, and yep, it's going to be Chum out of the graveyard. He probably just didn't have enough resources to go, say, like Chum, Gold Kiss, Swabby, like swing one of them. So instead, it's just Murderous Rabble, get a little bit of damage in, and also swing Chum.
And Chum can be extremely disruptive to a ninja. The 6 health on that ally means if you count that towards Zach's life total, he is now up 6 points of life in this matchup.
He is also up, I believe, 3 or 4 gold off of that gold-baited hook just this game.
Yeah, really good usage of that. Of course, you kind of expect things to hit when you're playing into a ninja who doesn't want to block.
Now Anthony, wondering how many head jabs am I going to have to send at this Chum? Pitching a red snatch to send a kunai of Retribution.
Showing a little weakness.
That must be because he just doesn't have any Draconic starters, and yeah, that's the way the hand looks.
Ooh.
An unfortunate stumble for a Draconic Ninja.
Starter Andy.
No starter Andy, says Zach. Nothing gets by this guy. He can sniff it out.
Block 1. Sure.
Gold-baited hook comes out to play, blocking in a very similar fashion to how it did in the Peter Budensick game.
And I like that a lot. Just keep that Mask of Momentum from getting to 3.
Burning Blade Dance, 3 go again. At Zach, says Anthony. On hit. Flick a dagger. We see a Gravy activation here. Got to get those non-blocking allies out of the hand. Zach still has 1 to contend with. Luckily, drew a blocking card off the top, though.
And if this Chum can survive and he can establish a Sawbones, that is going to be a brick wall in front of Anthony.
Not a brick house.
A brick house, a brick wall.
She's a brick.
I know she is. Is that relevant to this?
Yeah, sure. Keeping pace as always is Michael Murray.
We're just trying to make references that make sense. That's all.
Yeah. Brick house.
She's a brick. Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Yeah, all right, cool. Don't you assume Chum's pronouns. What the heck are you doing?
Just singing a song.
All right, I respect that. Still 3 go again on the combat chain here. Zach really in the tank on this one. What are the options he's considering here?
Block or not block?
Fair.
But I think there's a lot to consider on the way that he plays this turn out offensively. Really, really important to get as much value as you can when the life totals are this low and you've got a Chum on the board. A lot of options to consider. And it could be that this is the actual the time to say no blocks and try to set up an oppressive army. Not the case, though, as Zachary respects the damage and blocks 3.
I have to think that he was trying to figure out the best way to get a blue into his graveyard. And I think Restless Bones in the blue is one of those cards that really needs a good think because it requires 2 resources up front and then plenty more to play out the allies that you want.
It does make sense to me.
In this case, just going to shore up the 3 damage on Burning Blade Dance. Anthony rubbing all of his brain cells together, trying to figure out what Zach is planning, how to push as much damage as humanly possible.
He's also probably worried about when this Chum activation will come through, if it does, because if he ends up going down to 1 card, it's very likely that the Chum could just eat the final card and absorb it without dying.
4 go again at Zachary Wallach here. Zach does have the ally in hand to discard to the Chum ability whenever he sees fit. And with Anthony only 1 in hand, I think he's thinking about the moment to strike.
This is Chainlink 2 of the Mask of Momentum. The last Chainlink did hit thanks to the Flick Knives.
Saltwater Swell plus Dead Threads. The all-important Necromancer chess piece comes out to block 4. Anthony no longer has access to Flick Knives. So Mask of Momentum is essentially dead for the turn. Kunai of Retribution sent thanks to the blood-splattered vest, and then Lava Burst cleans up the Chum.
I do like that. I was getting a little bit worried that Zachary was going to blow Anthony out for disrespecting the Chum activation, but Anthony says, no, I know that that's a possibility, and I'll just do it for you. I'll target the Chum, take him out, and I do like that play, although Zach didn't take very much damage and has a couple cards to work with.
I think he's
good
gonna.
enough.
I think he's gonna have to start drawing here.
Yeah, with only 2 gold, that he doesn't have a ton to work
Break a
with.
gold to draw a card.
Here we go. What is the card drawn? It's a blue and it's a golden tipple.
It's a nice hit, I think.
We are back, baby.
Yes, it is. Okay. Still learning my gravy bones chops.
And yes, because it is a blue, Loot the Hold can come out to play, unlock that graveyard, and then resolve Sawbones, swing Sawbones with a nasty on-hit in its own right. This is 6. No go again, but on-hit, force your opponent to discard a card and create a gold token.
Yeah, so this is kind of like a 2-card. It's like a CNC that hits the hand almost.
This is exactly the pivot that Gravy Bones needs into the aggro matchup against Cindra. You need to force them to start playing your game. And that game is, I play allies, you remove allies while I'm disrupting you.
Yeah, and I think other than the life totals being a little bit higher than I would personally want for the pivot turn, this is a great time for it to hit. I was just thinking that if the life totals were 10 lower on both sides, this would be even better.
6 right here for Anthony. Can he even block it out? I know I saw 1 3 block as he was thumbing through those cards.
Still has 1 on the boots as well.
What is he working with? There's 1 3 block. Rising Resentment is 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And
It
then
doesn't feel great to
Ravenous
give
Rabble.
any of these cards, but of course, if you don't give any of them, you have to give one anyway. So it seems prudent to block.
And you've got to come back with something that is
Yeah.
worth just basically giving your opponent an extra 3 value by discarding a card.
The other question is, okay, you've got 2 cards to work with. Can you clear this ally efficiently with that? I mean, you can throw 1 at it and then like arsenal the last one, but man, then you've given all the tempo back to Gravy Bones.
Which can be really rough, especially when a Swabby is lying in wait.
Anthony kind of chuckling, I think, realizing that this is a tough spot to be in. As the favored hero, he's a little bit against the wall. The brick wall.
The brick house, Michael.
No go again.
No go again, asks Anthony. No indeed, sir. You are free to take this damage at will, and nothing else will come.
No gold-baited hook activation here, because I think Zach expects the block, so I like that.
It is one of those situations where people often draw very close attention to the baited part of the gold-baited hook. Sometimes, if you make it juicy enough for your opponent to block, especially when they are normally remiss to block, you can generate enough value there to steamroll to the end of the game. Zach, however, not wanting to risk that piece of equipment just yet.
Yeah, I think the interactions with that card in particular are so interesting in this game, and it was so aptly named as well.
Zach still has access to his Mage Master boots.
Yeah, really doing a good job of conserving his tools for the late game. And a Gold Kiss Rum.
Rum is good. Anthony, however, still has a very difficult decision ahead of him.
Yeah, if I'm him, I think I have to block 5 and then 1 with the boots.
I don't know. I almost don't mind taking 6 here, getting rid of one of these cards, saying like Oath of Loyalty into Head Jab into Arsenal.
You might be right. You might be right.
Nevertheless, Anthony elects to go with your line here. Oath of Loyalty, Rising Resentment, and the boots are used to block on this meaningful on-hit.
If he sends 1 card to clear and arsenals a card, he could save up a really powerful turn, but he also sets himself up to be vulnerable to some arsenal disruption, and we do see it.
Conqueror of the High Seas lies in wait in Zachary's hand. But he's got to find blues here. He's got a gravy activation and a gold token to get rid of one of these allies, but what is on top of the deck?
And
Zach gets to know.
Anthony continuing not to arsenal, and once again dodging that Conqueror.
It's a blue drawn up for Zachary Wallach, which means that Conqueror of the High Seas is at the ready. Oh, Zach's feeling good right here.
Yeah, even if the on-hit isn't active, 4 for 8 go again is just such a powerful ability when you're trying to push damage.
Zach, however, is probably not going to be able to get a blue into the grave with this hand. He's going to have to pitch immediately to the Conqueror of the High Seas.
Takes 4. I like that decision.
Down to 11 goes Zachary Wallach. 16 plays 11, currently in the favor of our Draconic Ninja. But Zach has 4 cards. Let's see what he's doing. Saltwater Swell is the first attack. He finds a blue, which he knew was there thanks to the Compass of Sunken Depths. Up to 4 resources floating is Zach Wallach. 1 go again here.
Yeah, and this is a turn he has pieced together, the ability to play an ally and that Conqueror.
Oh, yes, indeed. 4 resources at the ready. Zach is going to be able to resolve Swabby and swing Conqueror of the High Seas if he so chooses.
The only thing he's missing is the ability to swing the Swabby after, which would be devastating. Just a little bit resource shy. And actually, I wonder if, obviously, the block was a very high-value block. A miscount? You mean on the dead threads?
On the resources, yeah, because there's no dead threads here.
Yeah, exactly. So I was saying if he had the dead threads, this turn gets a lot scarier.
Because with dead threads, he would have been able to resolve Chum, swing Conqueror of the High Seas, then swing.
Resolving the Chum means he doesn't have the resources to play the Conqueror. So is it...
Oh, did Zach miscount his resources
no.
here? His head goes to his brow. Oh, did he think he still had the dead threads at his disposal?
He's doing some math. I wonder if he wants to just try to get the extra value instead and arsenal the Conqueror for later.
Instead, it's Mage Masters, give Swabby go again, and be able to swing Chum. So if it was a miscalculation, he definitely found a great out. Activate gold-baited hook and swing Chum for 4, which is free, thankfully.
Yeah, his body language is not telling me miscalculation. I think he's valuing the health on the board, sitting at 11. Now he feels a little bit more protected against what Anthony's trying to do, and just kind of playing the slow grind game instead of trying to blast the health total of Anthony in one fell swoop.
And this is one of those board states that's incredibly hard to answer, even for a ninja deck. Because at any point, Zach can discard an ally, force Anthony to attack the Chum, and then Swabby is just sitting there at the ready to basically be a Titan's Fist that swings for 7.
Yeah, the ability for Chum can't be activated until after the first card is played from Anthony. Of course, priority not being granted until then, which does mean that Swabby is vulnerable to any form of head jab if that's how Anthony starts the chain. So that's why I'm a little bit hesitant to love the play, but
no, pain in the backside going towards Zachary Wallach.
And I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, you want it to go at Swabby,
I
huh?
do.
I respect that decision. However, Zach has established a board state that is hard to answer, which sometimes can mean that if you're in the aggro seat, you've got to start ignoring. You've got to start ignoring the allies and going face and trying to just strip all of the cards out of your opponent's hand that way. You can't swing Swabby if you don't have anything to pitch.
Yeah, and Anthony has 11 life, which is 3 swings of Chum, so still has quite a few turns to work with if he's able to strip every card from Zachary. But the value of being able to just throw 4 damage for 0 cards every turn will add up, and if Zach is able to find his blocking cards and stay alive at this point in the game, Anthony will probably run out of steam.
Zach blocks with a Blood in the Water here, perhaps because he knows that Ancestral Empowerment is in the hand of Anthony Zichella, thanks to the Ravenous Rabble resolved the turn prior.
Also an overblock. You can see Anthony's got the Ancestral Empowerment. Maybe would have liked to play it here, but has to wait until the next link.
It's 11 plays 11. The tension is palpable here at the final table of the Arcane Games and Events Open Series LA June edition.
And I do love that what we thought going into this was a very favored matchup for the Cindra is turning out to be anything but. Neck and neck are these opponents.
Like this hero is so prism coded, it's crazy.
Zach says this hero is so prism coded, and he's talking because all of the cards have incredibly high rarity versions if you want to take them. And Zach is nothing if not a max rarity gamer.
Oh yeah, he loves it. I think I saw one non-Marvel ally in his graveyard, which frankly I'm disappointed.
I bet you so is Zach. Anthony having a real think here. He's got to piece together a good turn.
Yeah, this is looking scary for him. I think I have Zachary favored in this spot. It's close. It's very close. But if I had to put my money on one or the other in this moment right here, right now, I can see how Zach is piecing together the final pieces of this puzzle to stuff what Anthony's trying to do. It's becoming harder and harder to connect with that life total with the chum on the board and only 3 cards to work with.
We have to dig.
Pieces on pieces. Does it lead to the stuff? Anthony drawing a card off that Ancestral Empowerment saying we have to dig. We have to go deeper.
Yeah, that March of Loyalty not doing what he wants it to this turn.
And there's no Draconic starter here, Michael, so he's going to have to pitch one of these reds for a Kunai of Retribution.
And this is why I really would have liked to see that head jab go into the Swabby. Understandable why he didn't want to do it, trying to eke that extra value out of the Ancestral Empowerment, which he was kind of expecting to connect, but the defense reaction, not even allowing that. Really, really nice bit of a lucky timing from Zachary, as every point of health matters at this stage of the game.
Can Zach do the impossible and take down the cursed matchup that is Cindra, Dracai of Retribution for our brand new zombie commander? Anthony flicking these cards back and forth, trying to will them to be different ones. Anthony, at this point, at this juncture, he's at a crossroads. He needs to decide whether or not to deal with this board or continue pushing damage at Zach.
And not having the Draconic starter right now means that his cards are lacking go again.
Correct.
So he's bricked up beyond belief at the moment. He can't clear chum, right? With what he's got, I don't see a way.
He can clear chum if he pitches March of Loyalty, send Kunai of Retribution, both head jabs go at chum, but that is kind of a losing position because then Swabby stays around.
Right. That's so much damage.
I'm gonna
And the agency
discarding
is still Zach's to activate chum as he has done so, discarding a Whaler Humperdinck, also a Marvel, mind you, which means that Anthony is forced to now remove that chum friendly first mate. And Zach is so happy about this. This is exactly the board state he wanted to set up here. He knew that chum was probably going to die on this turn, but as long as Swabby survives, Zach is in a great spot.
And he must be over the moon that that Swabby is still there. Anthony had an opportunity to take it, but just chose not to.
Anthony shaking his head, and yes, the Kunai of Retribution goes straight at chum. Down to 5 health is the friendly first mate. Burning Blade Dance. 3 go again. Hot on their heels. Also at chum. Flick Knives at Zach, which means 1 damage is finally going to get through on this turn. But it is all for naught because this is exactly the plan Zach had all along. Lava Burst, it's the draw, though.
That is a bit of a reprieve for sure. The question now is, where does it go?
For my money, it's Swabby. Gotta hit Swabby.
Yeah.
There is a Whaler Humperdinck in the graveyard, but Zach is not going to be able to resolve that.
Yeah, and so Anthony choosing to clear the Swabby, it looks like.
The first time this big dice works, because all my cards go up to 3 and this is 4.
This is an intense moment.
he
Is this
clearing
going at
the Swabby?
face?
I think it might be. It
This
is
is
at
at
face.
face.
You know I had it, but it's,
Interesting.
Oh, a bold move from
I didn't know
Anthony
you had it
here.
until you told me you had it.
I showed you because I love you.
Anthony Zichella loves his opponent, Zachary Wallach.
Take 5.
There's no surprise there. There's nothing not to love. But Zach, taking 5, down to 5. He knows this is exactly the way he wanted this whole cycle to play out. Swabby at the ready. 1 card 7 over and over again until the game is over.
My turn.
Pretty good.
Zach thinking about playing out this loot the hold to try to give Swabby a valuable on hit.
Loot the whole.
Do you think that makes sense?
Or
This is the discard one.
Fuck off, Zach.
Or does it?
That's the last one, right?
It could.
Yeah, that's the last one.
Yeah, no, the discard is extremely meaningful here.
7. Swabby's first swing of the game, and it's a big one. Loot the hold to back it up. Anthony will have to discard a card if any of this damage connects.
It's like a CNC with a might token on it.
It makes me think, though, if Anthony had hit Swabby with that Lava Burst, yeah, sure, you're losing some value. But what is Zach's turn at that point? It's Call to the Grave, find a different ally,
Yeah.
create probably a Sawbones, swing Sawbones.
Well, obviously, in hindsight, he could have sort of gotten his cake and eaten it too by attacking it with the head jab for his first attack.
True. A truer statement could not be made here, Michael Murray.
What the?
Anthony posturing to Arsenal, the blood in the water in Zach's graveyard. That has got to be illegal.
You don't need any more advantages in this matchup.
I gotta say, I am thrilled with the way this game has played out. For a finals to be very one-sided is a sad thing to witness, and this case, we do not see that, as Zach is putting up an absolute show with Gravy Bones, showing us that, yeah, just because you can draw a card after every single ally kill doesn't mean that you can beat me. And I'm just so impressed with the way that he has navigated this matchup.
We call him the Wall on the AG Pro team, and there's a good reason. He is so good at setting up these checkmate board states, much like his counterpart, Austin Summers. That's why these two jive so well and why they are such an amazing pair on this team.
Absolutely. And the other thing, too, is I know that when a new hero gets released and I just want to watch all the games to learn how to play it, the best thing that I can see is a game into an unfavored matchup that wins. I love seeing that when it's my hero. I used to be watching Acilio into Prism, and now we've got it here with Gravy Bones into Cindra.
You know who hates to see it, though? Anthony Del Taco.
I was going to say.
He's not stoked
I
right
love
now.
the guy, and I of course, appreciate every time he shows up and is able to take it down. Such a great story of him being at his first AGE for the year and doing so incredibly well.
But now, in this situation, he's in an even worse spot than he was previously, because if he blocks this out, say with three cards, a 3-block, a 2-block, and a 2-block, and then he just takes a turn off to kill Swabby, Zach then has full steam ahead to resolve a Whaler Humperdinck and make an even worse showing for Anthony.
And the worst part of all about that Whaler Humperdinck is it does 11 damage, and that is precisely the life total Anthony has. So if that thing swings, Anthony can't say no blocks anymore.
Will that thing swing? That's the thing we're trying to answer here at the Arcane Games and Events Open Series.
If anything's a brick house, it's Whaler Humperdinck, let me tell you.
I have never seen Anthony play slower than I have here
Yeah.
at the top 8.
No, he's
Of
the
the June AG.
fastest player I know.
No, it's time for the Mask of Momentum to go bye-bye. Sure, it's a PCG 9.5, but it's worth about as much as a crack bauble now that it is block 2.
And this time we see the head jab going towards the Swabby. I'm almost sure of it.
Zach is only at 5.
Yeah.
So if Anthony can pressure the entirety of the hand, then he gets into a situation where not even Swabby will save Zach. But only 2 cards in the hand for Anthony. That can't be enough gas.
Pain in the backside representing 3. We keep calling them head jabs, but of course that is not a card in this list. But it is an infamous 0 for 3 go again. And did he send this at face again?
Seems like it.
Oh, Anthony.
He's got a Snatch left in the hand, so he could be thinking, I want to guarantee the hit on
Okay.
Snatch on Swabby
I like
and
that.
refresh the arsenal.
No, that is better, especially because if this hits, it does technically represent 4, as it can send an extra ping from the dagger. So this kind of asks for cards from Zachary.
And if Zach blocks with a card here, he's not going to be able to resolve Humperdinck and swing Humperdinck.
Right.
He technically needs 4 blues in that case.
No, I do, in hindsight, really like this play from Anthony. I think that was the right call to go. Face.
He's bought himself a card.
And this is a nice spot to be in. You would like the life total to be a little bit lower to be in this spot, but the Flick Knives is a sense of inevitability, as he's chipped now 20% of the remaining life total of Zachary. While
Anthony sends Snatch at Zach. He's fully committed here.
Wow.
Zach is going to be able to block with 2 cards and then just send Swabby. It's still a tense moment, folks.
It is.
Zach is still at 4 life to Anthony's 11, and Flick Knives, like my co-caster said, is something that can just close out games inherently.
Activate hook. Pitch eye for Swabby.
And here comes the play that Zach probably wants to be making until the end of the game. Swing Swabby. 7 power for the cost of a blue. The decision here is the Eye of Ophidia opt. Both are going to the top for Zach Wallach. And I love that choice because Chart the High Seas is on top, and that is a high roll card. We have seen it do work for Zach just this game alone. If he can resolve 1 more, if that is the last card in his hand and he hits 2 off the top, it could close this game out.
And I'm sitting here wondering if maybe I do like the fact that Anthony sent that snatch at face, as he's got the life total to work with. And now a 4-card hand, this time not being disrupted by anything.
Another head jab, but it's not a head jab. It's a Ronin Renegade. It's the Draconic head jab. Zach's gotten rid of the 1 ally in hand, which means that the rest of these are going to block 3. Exactly
really
where he wants to
important.
be. And he's got a give no quarter, too, which could mean that he finally resolves the Whaler Humperdinck. But will Anthony give him the space? I think not.
No way you get that Whaler out at this point in the game.
Ronin Renegade blocked out by Restless Bones. No damage conferred this turn. 4 plays 4 here. Zach will be swinging for lethal if he can just keep 1 card in hand.
Okay.
3 go again. Brand with Cinderclaw. Next attack will be Draconic, and Anthony's got a Blood Runs Deep and a Ravenous Rabble. Chart the High Seas comes out to block this head jab. Ravenous Rabble. 4 go again. Is Draconic. This
No
is
more
going to be
mask.
huge.
Taking 1.
Block 3, take 1, says Zachary Wallach. He really needs to hold on to this last card. The Flick Knives has already come out. Cindra activated. Blood Runs Deep is going to come out next. 4 go again, 2 flicks
Oh
immediately, and that's the
my
game.
God.
Anthony Zichella rubs those 2 kunai together and gets there in the end, closing it out against Zachary, the Wall Wallach.
I was getting nervous for the way he was playing that at the end, but he knew exactly the kind of gas he had left in the tank. He used the last drop he had to find that last piece of life. And man, what a finish from Anthony, closing that game out in what should have been a really easy matchup. Zachary showing up and putting it in work.
Kudos to Zach because he is the guy to get it done in an unfavored matchup. He knows how to play against aggro, but hey, Anthony, in his own right, detected the moment where it was time to stop dealing with these zombies and just go face. If you rip all of the cards out of a Gravy Bones hand, forget about the Swabby. That thing is not swinging for 7. You need a card to do that, and ninjas are good at stripping cards.
Woo, my heart is beating. That was a close one.
Michael Murray confirming that he is indeed alive. Heart is beating, which I'm happy to hear because I need him back next month to cast another one of these.
Yeah, maybe a little irregularly, but we're there.
No palpitations, Murray, is what we like to call him over here. That is going to do it for this AG Open. We will be back in just a moment for an interview with our winner and first-time competitor in Season 3, Anthony Zichella. Congratulations to him. We've got a champion to crown. So don't go anywhere. We will be back with Anthony DT Zichella, more flying butter knives, and more flesh and blood kinda after this. He's playing a royal hero, and now he has a crown to show for it. It's Anthony Del Taco Zichella. Congratulations for taking down AGE June LA. How you feeling?
Good.
This is yours.
Thanks.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks, man.
This
It's
is
it's good to be here.
Yeah, 100%. I was just happy that you were going to be in the room, let alone taking down the whole event.
This is my first one this year.
Exactly. We've been talking it up all stream long. Can't believe that you show up one time and then take the whole darn thing down.
I got lucky.
And we need to give a shout out to the family back at home who were so gracious to let us have you for the day.
Yes.
How are the wife and kid?
Good, man. Really good. Nairi, I asked Nairi, I was like, hey, I just come back from Knott's, but are you cool with me going to play at Age? She's like, I don't care. It's summer. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
I don't care. Sounds like a good
Yes.
enough thing for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome, man.
Not that usually it's no, but it's usually like, well, we have this birthday and this birthday, someone's anniversary, Father's Day. And I'm like, maybe this is my Father's Day gift.
There you go.
I don't know.
And what the heck? You're going to take home $400 on top of it. I'm not going to tell her
She's
that?
going to want it.
Okay. She's definitely not watching, right?
Maybe.
Uh-oh.
Every time...
Neri, he
Every
is
time-
maybe not coming home with $400.
Here's the thing. Every time that we go to like a calling or something together, like if I cash, I just send it to her. I'm like, here, take this because I drug you to wherever and you've been sitting around for like 12 hours.
You drugged her on top of it?
I drove her. I would drug her.
Jesus Christ.
Right?
Ignore. No. We
Well,
would
it's
never
like-
drug our wives.
Like melatonin when she can't sleep.
Melatonin. Is that considered drugging?
Yeah, it's a drug. Ibuprofen when she has a backache.
Okay.
I love my wife. I would drug her.
Okay, Anthony is somehow putting a positive spin on drugging his wife, which I didn't think was something he could possibly do.
Not illegal drugs. Oh, crap. She's watching.
Hi, Neri.
I did not win any money. It was a lie, but I will give you this direct deposit into the account.
Neri, Anthony is coming home with a $400 check just for you, and we're really excited to see how you're going to use it. Maybe another beach day. We would love that for you.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Are you ready as well to come back in the next couple months to fight it out for the Players' Championship?
The thing is, Nairi, if you're watching, I have to come back because I won't qualify for the Players' Champion.
Yeah,
she
Neri,
consents.
Neri,
She said, give me the money.
I do have to show you the standings here, Neri, because he is really, really close to top 16 contention for the Players' Championship. We are going to see a bit of a shakeup based on the proceedings from today, but you got to look. I mean, the 16th place is only at 34 points, and Anthony secured 30 by winning this AGE Open today, in addition to that $400 check that is going to go directly to his wife. So all you have to do, Anthony, is show up to an AGE Open and place top 16, and you're pretty much kind of maybe sort of locked.
I can do that, I think.
Yeah, you can at least show up to both of these, right?
Yeah.
Just roll that
There's two more?
$400 check into two more $40 entries,
Yeah.
and surely we get there in the end.
Surely.
Surely, 100%.
Obviously.
And this would be the first ever Players' Championship that you'd qualified for, or am I mistaken?
That's rude. Yes.
It is.
Yeah. First one. First
Yeah.
one.
And that is an exciting prospect, is it not? Listen, Anthony,
I'm very excited.
you've been on Draconic Ninja for years.
Yes.
And now does it feel like it is finally your time?
Yes.
Why?
Burr. I mean, if there's a bunch of gravy still, like that last matchup was terrifying. Like Zach is OP.
Yep.
And back when I used to play Fi and Zach would play Dromai, he was always like the final boss. There's never easy games against that guy. So I'm not saying the other people I played against were bad. I'm just saying that I think his list was the best one. And the amount of disruption that he threw at me, annoying. Super annoying.
Very annoying.
Yeah, I tried to steal his D-React, but he wouldn't let me. Can you
I saw
imagine?
that.
Can you imagine?
I didn't think that was legal. You were lucky that Sleepy Connor wasn't near the table.
I mean, Connor, doesn't know what's going on. Right?
You heard it here first, folks. Our mainstay judge at AG has no idea what's going on.
Not a clue.
That's him in yellow in the back right there, sitting on that table.
I think honestly, the big thing in that game was
How big was it?
it was so big, dude. It was huge.
Okay.
The big thing was like my first two hands were like unfunctional.
Yeah.
Like I had to pitch a bunch of cards that didn't have natural go again. I wasn't finding fealty. The setup wasn't there. So like I squeaked it out barely, but like one better turn for him and I'm dead.
The one fealty token that you were able to generate all game had to be sunk into an ancestral empowerment when you had to lead off with an oath of loyalty.
Yep.
There was that issue. I have to take you back to probably the most pivotal point in the entire game.
Are we going to do an instant replay?
No, I wish.
Okay.
We don't have the technology yet, but we are on it.
Let's talk
so
about it.
let me paint you a word picture, shall I?
Yeah.
We're back to Zach has a Swabby on board.
Yeah.
He has a Chum on board.
Yeah.
You lead off with a pain in the backside.
Yes.
Which could have targeted that Swabby, which later on in the game swung at you for 7 with a loot the hold.
Yes.
Empowering it.
Why did I do that?
Why did you not go after the Swabby is my question.
Okay, so this is probably wrong because I'm not good at Flesh and Blood. But in my head, if I go after Swabby, okay, if that card hits, right? If that card hits, I can use my chest to make a resource, swing a dagger, and then play out all 4 cards. That only works if it hits a hero. I can't hit Swabby. My hand is still not functional. So I need Zach, even though he knows I have Ancestral because of the turn before, to block 3. I need to Ancestral that, draw a card, flick the dagger, make a resource, swing the dagger, and then go 4 more wide, and he's probably dead. The D-React is huge there.
Yep.
So my thought process is he does know that I have the Ancestral. I haven't seen a lot of D-Reacts.
0, I think, at this point.
At this point, I've seen no D-Reacts, and we're halfway through the game. Odds are it's probably going to hit, or he's going to give me 2 cards, which I'm also fine with.
Yeah.
And then, so that was the thought process. I don't know if that's correct. But, Swabby's cool, but he doesn't do anything, right? So I'm at 11. I have some
Swings
space.
1 card 7.
Yeah, but he doesn't do anything scary other than damage. He's damage, right? So my thought process is I just need to pull cards out of his hand because, Zach on 3 cards is really scary. Zach on 2 cards is much less intimidating. So I was just trying to get him to a point where he would only have 2 cards a turn or less.
Knowing if you were able to have the foresight and the omniscience to know that a Loot the Hold is in hand, does that change your reasoning?
Say that one more time, sorry.
If you're able to see Zach's hand and see the Loot the Hold lurking, lying in wait, does that change your thinking?
Probably, yeah, probably. I don't remember exactly what was in my hand or what happened the turn before, but knowing that card does what it does, I'm definitely reassessing the situation.
Was this the first time you were seeing a lot of these Gravy Bones cards?
So, Dad Life, I haven't had a lot of time to catch up on the new set. I generally know kind of what everything does, but it being a match that actually matters, I wanted to know for sure what everything did, so I was reading everything, even on cards that I thought I knew what they did, and asking for a lot of clarification just to cover my bases. At Nationals, I only played against 1 Gravy, and it was kind of a blowout, so I didn't get to see a lot of his deck, and I didn't spend a lot of time studying it.
Which is unfortunate for you because you have been killing Gravy Bones right and left today.
Yeah, I think I beat 4 of them today. So
3 just in the top 8.
Yeah, Cindra, good choice.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Did I play 3 back-to-back?
You did.
That's gross. Who let that happen?
See, that's what I'm saying. Is it Draconic Ninja's time? Because there was a moment where we were thinking that, she's the answer to Scepter Florian, and for whatever reason, she just kind of didn't rise to the top.
I thought it was a good matchup.
In that, I'm sure, but for whatever reason, she just wasn't winning the Pro Quests when that deck was around, despite a lot of people pivoting to her.
Yeah.
But now, with Gravy Bones being maybe not the best meta pick, but certainly a strong deck and a very popular deck.
Yeah.
Could be Cindra's time.
Dude, it's beautiful. All the cards are beautiful. The Marvels are insane. Okay, so this is what I think. I think that if it becomes a meta of Gravy Bones is getting into everything else, and Cindra is decent in everything and really good into Gravy, I think you see Prism getting a lot better. Because Prism is good into almost, I think, everything but Gravy. And I think even then, a good Prism can maybe squeeze out a win every once in a while. And I think that Prism as a matchup is horrendous for me. I'm sure a bunch of people in the chat will be like, no, dude, I'm 85-0 into Prism on Talishar. But I don't think it's a good matchup, especially when you're playing a good player. If I got paired into Tyler, I think I'm just dead. I think Azalea is still really strong, but she's almost gone. I think Puffin probably, Anthony plays Puffin.
Yep.
But I don't know. He did well with Puffin, but I don't know if it's because he's Anthony, right? So I don't know if that hero's good. Yeah. A lot of people were coping on Marlin. Marlin seems fun. She's not figured out yet. Maybe she's good. Maybe she's not. And then you have the usual suspects. I think Florian's still a fine deck. I feel good about that matchup. Verdance is really good, but didn't convert very well today. I think it's kind of an open... which is nice.
Yeah.
I like an open meta.
I agree.
I like a meta that's everything is at worst 40%. And there's obviously Tech Will Blossom and stuff, but I think for the most part, everything's pretty... If you play a real hero, you can outplay your opponent or just sometimes draw well or, But yeah, I think it'll be a good meta. I think that Gravy's a real deck. I think that Gravy's not figured out yet. I think in 4 months it'll be way scarier.
Definitely in the hands of Zachary Wallach.
Yeah. I personally really liked the way that Peter's deck played. I don't think it's the best way to play it.
You liked it when he was revealing reds off Saltwater Swell?
I love that. No, I just think that having the ability to get some decent go again, especially in the mirror match, is a strong thing to have. I don't know. Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff that we don't know about yet.
Yeah.
It's too early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that needs to come to light, man.
Yeah, like what's buttered sausage?
Yeah, honestly. But what we definitely do know is that there's no real reason for you to change your ways, and that Draconic Ninja is probably going to be the Zichella way for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I've been practicing Slippy a lot because I really like it, the assassin playstyle too. But I'm not deep enough in the reps to feel confident on it. I brought it with me to nationals, and I was like, last minute, I was like, this is not a good idea. But yeah, I mean, I've been on Ninja of some form or another since EverQuest. So it was Katsu, then it was Fi, now it's Cindra.
Well, a massive congratulations to you, my fellow Fab Dad.
Thanks, man.
Take that $400 check and ship it right into your wife's pocket. And
I keep looking over and see her on the on the screen, and she's so stoked that she's about to get paid out right now.
I hear that. I'm stoked for you as well, Neri. Use it on something nice, but please let us have Anthony back for another time here at AGE. For now, that is going to be about it, except for one last thing.
Are you going to crown me?
I'm going to dub thee.
Oh, sick.
I dub thee. Wow, this might be too small for your head, actually.
That's perfect.
That's a big head right there.
Just like that.
Okay, I did my best, folks. We have crowned the June AGE champion,
It's Pirates.
and it is Anthony DT Zichella. Yeah, there we go. It's an eye
Right?
patch. I love that. If you don't come next month wearing that, in fact, if you don't wear it everywhere in your house all the time, including on the toilet, then I will be incredibly disappointed in you, and you don't want that to happen.
I'm going to do one of those things where you like, what's it called? The garter. I'm going to wrap it around my thigh every day.
Okay.
Yeah. Duh.
As I cringe thinking about that image.
I can't. So I'm just going to leave it here.
I'm going to send us out, but first we got to talk about what is upcoming. We've got AGE New England coming at you on the 28th of June. That will be a streamed game at a streamed event at Grave Troll Games in Nashua, New Hampshire. Then we have 2 more opens for AGE LA. Anthony's going to be there, and so should you. That's July 13th at Top Deck Keep in Riverside, California. And you guessed it, August 9th, also at Top Deck Keep here in Riverside, California. There's so much more in the pipeline here at AGE. Go ahead and visit our YouTube channel. Join our Discord and follow us on the YouTube. Follow us on Blue Sky, and we will constantly be offering more and more content for your viewing pleasure. We love Flesh and Blood, and we want to do whatever we can to build this beautiful community that we have. For now, that's all she wrote at Arcane Games and Events. Join us next month and on the tube. Until then, see you next time.